Hello learners, I am Dr. Madhuri Hooda from Department of Education, Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak, Haryana. In the present section of study, we shall discuss on various types of errors which are likely to occur when conducting any type of research. We shall also be discussing in detail the causes and probable solutions to reduce or to remove these errors. The learning outcomes of the present session are, after going through the discussion in this present section, the learners will be able to understand various types of errors in research. The learner shall be able to understand the causes and solution to remove these errors. Third, the learner shall be able to use the knowledge of errors in their respective field of study. So let us discuss the errors which may occur while conducting the research study one by one in detail. First is theoretical error. These errors may occur at any different stages during the research process, such as choice of area of an investigation or assumptions about the constants and the variables and the definition of the variables or defining the variables. First is choice of area of study. Usually, an area or topic of research is assigned by the supervisor and not chosen by the researcher himself. Though he or she has no background of the field to be studied, and as the researchers don't have sufficient theoretical knowledge and understanding of the area, they cannot think reflectively in this field and cannot justify the work done by them. If a scholar of education has a master's degree other than the education discipline, he should identify the area of study which is interdisciplinary in nature. For example, psychology. The research scholar should select educational psychology, or he should select a field of specialization in which he has done specialization at the master degree or the MPhil degree. The researcher should select his area of study keeping in view his interdisciplinary knowledge or field of specialization and field of full understanding. Second, assumptions about the statement of the problem. Sometimes the terms problem and topic of research are used interchangeably, and though these are different to one another. While the problem exists in the situation and has a broad aspect, the topic is a variable statement of the problem which is based on some assumptions. Topic is the verbal statement of the problem, whereas problem indicates the relationship of the variables based on theoretical rationale. If the statement of the problem has no sufficient basis for the relationship, it is accountable to a theoretical error. The statement of the problem is very specific term if compared with the topic of the research. It indicates the relationship and it is accountable to a theoretical error. Such errors can be avoided by having the knowledge of variables, operational definition of the variables, and understanding the nature of variables. Third is assumptions about constants and the variables. All the innumerable traits, qualities, and characteristics operating in educational situation cannot be considered in an investigation. Thus, to make research study feasible, some predominant traits in that situation are assumed as variable and others are taken as constants. The variables and constants of an investigation are based on the assumptions of the study. And if an important trait of the situation having significant role in the relationship of the variables of the study is assumed as constant, it will amount to the theoretical error. So, the researcher should identify the traits and characteristics of the situation starting with the problem and not from the topic, and he should also mention the constants of the study in the delimitation of the study. Fourth is definition of the variables. Educational research study aim at analysis of the relationship of the variable, and these are innumerable variables and one variable is defined in several ways. A research study cannot consider all the definitions of the variable, but remain confined to one definition of the variable which indicates the nature of the variable. The findings of the study is limited and applicable only to the definition of the variable, and wrong selection of the definition leads to the theoretical error. So these are the different types of theoretical error. We can avoid these theoretical errors by following these techniques which we have discussed. Now we'll go for methodological errors. So methodological errors are those errors like when we say that among the different methods and strategies of research, an investigation can be conducted by using an appropriate class of inquiry most suited to the situation. The major problem in adopting methodology of research is that By using one method, both internal and external types of validity cannot be obtained. For example, the findings of a research study has a high external validity, while experimental research has a high internal validity. Here, the most appropriate method is one which has both the types of validity of the findings. So by following some suggestions, we can avoid methodological errors. First is semi-experimental studies can be conducted, then the ex post facto studies or causal comparative researches can be conducted. Methods adopted according to the objectives can be taken, and follow up to evaluate the workability of the findings in actual situation can be done. Then we'll go for sampling errors. Sampling is the indispensable device to advance new corpus of knowledge in a discipline. Thus, the knowledge, awareness and practical skill of sampling is very essential on the part of educational researchers. And as the findings of the educational studies are not accurate but approximate, these are mainly influenced by sampling errors. The sampling error can be reduced in size if representativeness of the sample is increased, and usually the researchers draw samples with different subjects from the same population, but still the subjects have individual differences, and sometimes the biased sampling procedure is followed. The process of randomization and probability sampling is done to minimize the sampling errors, but it is still possible that all the randomized subjects are not representative of the population. So how we can reduce the sampling errors? There are some methods we can reduce the sampling error. First, we can go for equivalent groups with regard to some criteria, pre and post test, the relational procedure for experimentation, that is use of appropriate experimental designs. Now another techniques can be followed, like appropriate sampling devices can be used and statistical test should be appropriate. Then we can go for the measurement errors. Whereas sampling error influences the group or the sample measures of statistics, the measurement error influences an individual score. In behavioral sciences, measurement is indirect. Human variables are measured with the manifestations of behavior of an individual. Innumerable human traits and variables are measured through the behavior. Different clusters of the behavior refer to different traits and variables, and there is high overlapping among the clusters of behavior. For example, same situation or item or behavior is used for measuring intelligence and achievement. A variable cannot be defined comprehensively because it is abstract in nature, and it cannot be perceived through senses but only inferred from the behavior of the individual. A test cannot measure purely the same trait. A verbal test of intelligence partly measures intelligence and partly the achievement. Thus, standardized tests involve the errors of measurement. Some practical suggestions can be utilized effectively to avoid such type of errors. So, in this way we can take large samples to avoid measurement errors. We can have proper tool, means standardized test should be used. Third, the nature of variable should be defined according to the manual of the test which has been used for this purpose. And fourth is need of adequate research design. So, these techniques or these measures can help in reducing the measurement error. Then statistical errors. In conducting a research study in behavioral sciences, statistics is not the master, but it is a servant to the researcher. The nature of the data decides the applicability of a statistical technique. It depends on the nature of the trait measured, variable or the attitude. Some traits are measured at nominal scale by using questionnaire, interviews and schedule, and the attitude towards education situation is measured by employing rating scales, and the data are obtained on ordinal scale. The variables are measured by using test, inventories, observation techniques, and data are gathered on the interval scale. If a suitable technique is not used for analyzing data and interpretation of results, it amounts to statistical errors. We can use parametric or non-parametric statistics as per the need of the study to avoid statistical error, and specific techniques need to be used, and moreover, before using the technique, the normality of the distribution of data should be checked. Then we'll go for interpretive errors. Interpretation of the data means to verbally communicate the meaning of the results or to verbally communicate the data obtained in terms of statistical data. Scientific studies analyze the relationship of different sets of variables, which is of two types. First is descriptive relationship and functional relationship. And in behavioral sciences, survey type studies are conducted for analysis of descriptive relationship of variables. Cause-effect relationship is established while interpreting the relationship, and it is not correct to do so. Even in pure sciences, it is almost impossible to control all the factors of an event or related to the situation to the point of identifying the single causal agent or the agents and to preclude that the operation of extraneous factors with certainty. The establishment of causation is not as essential as it was once believed to. One can predict learning even though one cannot identify many of its causes. Science at best can only be the approximate. So how we can minimize these interpretive errors? One should use scientific terminology first to interpret the results, and moreover, the words used for interpretation should have a single meaning. And the next type of errors is inferential errors. Generalization made on the number of observations cannot be applied to one or two individuals but to a group of individuals. A sound or valid generalization must be based on sufficient number of representative cases. A sample too small or non-representative presents a hasty generalization which involves error in the findings. In experimental studies, small samples are taken for experiment as control cannot be imposed on a large group. Therefore, cause-effect relation can be established, but generalizations cannot be made. The term generalization refers to normal situation but not to control the situation. The experimental observations cannot be applied to normal situation but in a control situation. So, is the cause in or and of itself adequate to generate the result? What evidence is there to support linking this cause and effect? And second, besides hasty generalization relating appropriately at this point, what other causes or combination of causes could have produced the result or the effect? So, following precautions we can adopt to avoid such type of errors, or let us see how we can avoid inferential errors. The inferences should not be in conflict with the observed facts which are accepted to be true, and the inferences drawn should be directly based upon the result of the study. Third, the findings should be written in simple words. Fourth, the findings should be discussed in detail with adequate rationale. And limitations of the finding should also be mentioned in addition to the delimitations. And the findings of the study must be related to the objectives and hypotheses of the study. And last is reporting errors. Most of the errors in research work may be avoided by writing a good research report. The experts and examiners can easily locate the errors and mistakes committed in pursuing the study. Some reporting errors are the biases and the prejudices, the fallacies, the assumptions, the contaminations, and the rationalizations. So, by following certain type of things, we can reduce the errors. When we talk about the reporting errors, so biases and prejudices are some very important errors which are committed knowingly as well as unknowingly. Research has utility to the extent that it is capable of contributing to knowledge and stimulating progress and helping society to relate more efficiently and effectively to the problems that it perpetuates and creates, and biases may be intentional and unintentional. It can be reduced by ensuring objectivity in reporting the research work. A research work should be conducted systematically and objectively so that the reporting errors can be reduced. So, contamination of research results should be taken into consideration while reporting the research work, such as observer contamination, treatment contamination, and statistical contamination. So, friends, in the present section of study, today we discussed the different types of errors which are likely to occur when we conduct any type of research study, and we also discussed in brief their causes and the probable solutions to reduce or remove these errors in order to have more objectivity and precision in our research process. I hope you enjoyed this learning session, and best wishes for your coming classes. So hope to meet you again in our coming schedules.